Good morning. Thank you all for joining us, and we thank Hopkins All Children's Hospital for hosting our event today. My name is Susan McGrath, and I am the Executive Director for the Florida Consumer Action Network, and we are here today with our sister organization, Florida PIRG, to release PIRG's report on trouble in Toyland. Florida PIRGs are a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization in the public interest. Joining me today are Congresswoman Kathy Castor, Dr. Wassam Rahman, pediatric emergency medicine physician at All Children's, and Petra Viberalova, safety instructor for Florida Suncoast Safe Kids Coalition. After the presentation, we will take some questions. Today we are here to release PIRG's 31st annual Toy Safety Report, Trouble in Toyland. Today's message is clear. We need to protect our youngest consumers from recalled toys. Parents and caregivers should watch out for recalled toys in their homes as well as online stores. We should be able to trust that the toys we buy are safe. However, until that's the case, consumers should understand two things. First, not all recalls may be well publicized, so we should check our house for previously recalled toys. And secondly, some toys that are recalled are still available online. Over the past 31st years, our report has led to at least 150 recalls and other actions to get dangerous toys off store shelves. In 2008, policymakers responded to an unprecedented wave of toy recalls by passing a law to revamp the Consumer Product Safety Commission, empowering it to better protect American kids from our unsafe toys. In addition to expanding the tiny CPSC's budget and staff, the new law gave the Commission more tools to speed recalls of dangerous toys, including a publicly accessible database of potential hazards called safeproducts.gov, which went live in 2011. Banned toxic metals and chemicals from many types of toys and children's products required mandatory testing of toys and other products from the manufacturers. But there are still products out there that fail to meet these important safeguards, and some standards need to be even stronger to fully protect our children. From January 2015 to October 2016, the CPCS recalled 44 toys, totaling over 35 million units of toys. Now I'd like to introduce Congresswoman Kathy Castor, who is a champion for our children and consumers.
Well, thank you, Susan, and good morning, everyone. I'm grateful for Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital and all of the medical professionals and volunteers who take care of children across the Tampa Bay area in the state of Florida. This is one of the premier children's hospitals in the entire country, and just about every year they host this press event to give parents and families the tools they need during the holiday shopping season to keep their children safe. And I'm also grateful to Florida Consumer Action Network and the Florida Public Interest Research Group, because every year they compile the data that we need as policymakers to determine, are the reforms to the Consumer Product Safety Commission working or are they not? And I'm gratified to be here today to say that yes, the toy recalls are down, but we still have work to do. It was in 2008 I helped co-sponsor a bill that would provide parents, grandparents, consumers with greater tools to determine whether or not the toys on the shelves are safe or not. And the PIRG and FCAN report this year says yes, we're making progress, but we've got to remain vigilant. Because right now, with a new administration coming into the White House, there's a lot of talk about rolling back regulations, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us to say, let's not roll back the Consumer Product Safety Commission mission. Make sure that they continue to have the tools they need to protect our kids. And for the Congress, as they look to cut the budget in certain places, it's not wise to cut the budget of the Consumer Product Safety Commission, because the Commission saves lives. This is also an annual reminder of the tools that consumers have. And everyone does their shopping online now. It's fun to go out and shop, and I hope you'll support your small businesses across this community. But we know you're going to Amazon.com, and we know you're shopping online, and oftentimes it's a little more difficult to determine whether or not those online toy sales are safe or not. So, consumers have at their fingertips at the same time the ability to go to saferproducts.gov, where they can submit reports and search a database for product hazard reports. And parents can also subscribe to government announcements of recalled products at recalls.gov. And since we adopted the Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act, the number of recalls are down, but last year, since January 2015, we have had 40 recalls. There have been, in 2005, there were 11 toy-related deaths among children younger than 15, and in 2015, there were over 250,000 toy-related injuries treated in U.S. hospital emergency departments. The riding toys continue to be quite a hazard. You know, they're so popular. This is America. People love their cars, they love their trucks, and kids are the same way. All of these newly mechanized vehicles and bikes. I mean, what a great holiday gift it is to buy your child a helmet when you get them a bicycle. I know the medical professionals here at All Children's Hospital, they see way too many of those head injuries. We've got to remain vigilant as parents and as grandparents, as families, to make sure that we're keeping our children safe. So again, let's make sure with this new administration we continue to have a strong Consumer Product Safety Commission, that parents have all the tools they need to keep their kids safe, and that parents take a little extra responsibility to make sure that they're not stocking the Christmas stocking. You're not stuffing the Christmas stocking with hazardous toys this year. Again, I'm grateful to everyone at All Children's, Johns Hopkins. I'm so fortunate as a member of Congress. There aren't many that represent two children's hospitals in the country, and we do a lot together, and I'm really grateful for everything they do. Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital is just the premier children's health center in the country, and I'm grateful. So at this time, we'll call up Dr. Raymond to talk about what you're seeing in the ER space.
Thank you for having me. I'm Seán. I'm the medical director of the Emergency Center at All Children's Hospital, or Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Toys continue to be a challenge to us on a daily basis. Talking about riding injuries is probably the most common thing we see is bicycle injuries. Kids riding bicycles, falling off their bikes, getting hit by cars. We see that quite often. The most important thing in that it's going to happen, kids are going to fall off bikes, but it's very important for them to wear helmets. The other things we do see very commonly are choking. Patients present with choking type injuries. Usually these are small objects. Usually these are kids under 3 years of age. Most of the time they'll pick up a part of a toy, a part of an ornament, a Christmas ornament. They'll pick up a part of a toy or a gadget that belongs to an older child, which is very important to remember that when you do buy toys, that consumers look at all the members of the household and the hazards that they are threatened with. One of the most difficult ones are batteries, button batteries. Sometimes hard to find. I've pulled button batteries out of noses. If they're small enough, they can go in the ear. They're very, very tiny ones. And they're very, very dangerous. The worst are when they go into the esophagus or the food pipe or in the trachea. They can cause quite a devastating injury in a few hours. So it's a very, very dangerous thing to have. So button batteries is something that is very, very important to keep away from small children. And they can be found in our car keys, the remote controls, etc. The other thing is magnets. Magnets are tough because if you swallow one magnet, it's not a big deal. When you swallow two magnets or more, they can compress the bowel on either side of the bowel and can be very, very dangerous. And again, hard to diagnose initially, but eventually the child will develop symptoms. So it's very, very important for families to be cognizant of all the toys they buy, no matter what age their children in the home are. Because most of the times, the ones that I do see are toddlers that pick up pieces of toys and fragments of other things and put in their mouth. Another thing we see probably most commonly ingested are coins. If I had a coin for every patient I saw, I'd be a millionaire right now. So anyway, I just want with the holiday season, parents must be cognizant of these things, especially with the new toys, especially for riding vehicles on Christmas Day.
Thank you, Congresswoman Pastor, Dr. Rahman, and Susie for publishing and publicizing this report. My name is Petra Vibirolova, and I lead Safe Kids on Coast Coalition supported by Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. And our job is to communicate safety information to parents and families about how to prevent injuries, because as Dr. Rahman stated, we see these injuries in small children very, very frequently. So I am going to talk about some toys today because we have this opportunity that might be potential dangerous and on the market where parents can order them online. One of the things that we have here, this is a chain that can be used for a pacifier. The report found that the beads can break off and become a choking hazard. Typical rule of thumb for choking hazard is parents can use a toilet paper roll that will show them. If it goes through, basically, the child can choke on it. And as you can see, if I put all of these beads into this toilet paper roll, it will become a choking hazard for a small child. Big issue, choking hazards. We also have other problems with choking. Dr. Rahman mentioned magnets. There is a pencil case that has been recalled that has 2 magnets on it. And around the year of 2000, magnets became smaller and stronger. And what the issue is, if a child swallows this magnet and the second one, they can bind together and therefore become one larger magnet. And therefore, parents need to be vigilant about pencil cases and things that contain magnets. Toxic chemicals. There are strict regulations for toxic chemicals. However, we were still able to find a toy that contained toxic chemicals in the color pink only. And if you look at the labels of this toy, it says it's wonderful for the earth or it's all wooden. However, if parents are able to look into details, the pink color is containing much more toxic chemicals than it's allowed for a small child. And of course, if you buy this for a small child, they're bound to put it in their mouth, right? Another toy or ride-on toy that this report revealed was a balanced bicycle. Those are the small bicycles, and even 2-year-olds race on them. I'm from Sarasota, and I've seen these races, right? So little children, they don't have pedals, but little children balance on these bicycles. What the report found is that the tires become overinflated, and actually it breaks the rims, and therefore particles can fall off and cause lacerations to the children. And parents may not realize this, buying such bicycle for their 2-year-old to ride on. Also, we have a small drones. Drones have become so popular in many arenas of our jobs, of our society, and this one is made for children. I'm sure parents will order it online, but the problem with this drone is then when parents are charging this drone, the wires can overheat and cause fire inside of the home, which then becomes very, very dangerous for the whole family and neighborhood and our community as well. So With this, I would also like to point out we have a picture of a couple of other toys on here. There are pull-along toys. The caps on them can become a choking hazard. They're very, very small. And again, it would go through the toilet paper roll or a choking tube. And one thing that I have not seen in the past is a beanbag to sit on. And we actually have a beanbag that is safe as opposed to unsafe. So this beanbag has a zipper, and child can get to small particles that can also become choking hazard. In contrast, the bag down there also has a zipper, but there is a mesh that will prevent the child to be able to access choking hazard inside of that beanbag. So with that, I would like to share with families also, when they are shopping, check for recalls first. Because one of the things that we have learned, vehicles, for example, are recalled and owners are notified. I do a lot with car seats because they cause traumatic brain injuries. Car seats are registered, and the manufacturers send recall information and how to fix it onto families and caregivers. However, there's no such a thing with toys, right? Or if families are going to visit somebody's home, they don't know if they have small toys which can be potentially hazardous to their children. Have they checked the recall before they went? How would they do that? So families need to check the saferproducts.gov and also safekids.org for potential recalls for toys. With this, I would like to conclude this press conference and open our guests here for questions. Thank you.
Can I ask you, who's testing this stuff? I mean, we've seen lead paint come in from a variety of sources and other issues. So who's doing the testing?
The Consumer Product Safety Commission, they have laboratories, and they contract with laboratories. And it wasn't that long ago where it was discovered that a lot of imports contained high quantities of lead that can be very detrimental to children's development. So that 2008 law provided new resources for those kind of testing labs, and it's obviously paid off with a decline in the number of child deaths from toys and injuries. But you can see we had 250,000 still in 2015, and we still had 11 children die. We're not where we need to be.
Divya, how difficult is it to keep track of what's being sold online?
That is very, very challenging. My suggestion to families would be, make sure you have a list before you go shopping online and check it against the recall lists that are available to families, instead of buying and then realizing it might have been recalled.
But this is a great example. I mean, that's not very sophisticated, is it?
Right.
And parents can take advantage of that. You want to show them again?
Sure.
That's the danger zone.
So everybody has this, and we realized this the first year we did this press conference, that not everybody has a choking tube at home, right? Like, how do we measure? What are the measurements? But this is very simple. Every household potentially has this. So, so if they are buying something for, let's say, 6 months old, they can easily run it through. And you can see the heart stops here, and therefore it's not a choking hazard. One of the things older siblings, Legos, can probably go very easily in there. So visiting with family members, making sure that 8-year-olds' Legos are stored securely in their room without any potential of the little one choking is also very good.
Do you worry with the popularity of online shopping that, you've seen tons of other products, not necessarily kids' toys, that are knocked off all over the world, that a lot of toys that people might be buying, whether it's on Amazon or wherever, that might not be subject to recall? I mean, is that just something you need to be careful for?
Absolutely. I believe it or not, I have heard of car seats that have been made to be look alike and did not meet the same standard and as the standard that meet the U.S. regulations. Yes, yes, absolutely. That is a very good point. Make sure again that is the true brand that is represented, that is approved to be used according to United States regulations. Always.
Thank you.
So this one, so why is it just the pink?
We also have some families available.